Leeds United-based sponsor on the channel, teamwallart.com. The link is in the description. Worldwide shipping, and it's unbelievable, guys. As I've told you before, this is the sort of stuff that you can get from these guys. My favourites on the end here. Accused of everything, guilty of nothing since 1919. You can get this one for $5.99 if you buy another one for $7.99. And I did that. I've got the one of Marcelo Bielsa here. A beautiful image. Really good quality as well, by the way. And of course, the title-winning boys. Some really good stuff on there, guys. As I said, the link is in the description. I went to these guys. I love this sort of stuff. And they are Leeds United fans. Go check it out. Enjoy the video. One Leeds is now sponsored by OneFootball. OneFootball is a really classy app. You can get all of your Leeds United updates on this app. You can get all the transfer news, injury news, match day news, and it really is top quality. The most downloaded app regarding football on the site. So make sure you go check it out. The link is in the description, and I hope you enjoy the video, guys. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the post-match reaction show. Leeds United losing out to Arsenal 4-2. Brownie, we'll chew into the fat in a bit, mate. But just to surmise the game, Leeds really having a pretty woeful start. A lot of what we normally do that goes quite well, just even sort of energy and endeavour wasn't there in that first half. I thought we showed Arsenal a little bit too much respect. Arsenal, it had vibes of the Man United game, unfortunately, and you know, we made Aubameyang really look like Thierry Henry, didn't we, as you were saying? And listen, we lost the game 4-2. A spirited second half performance from Leeds, but it does leave you thinking, you know, why can we not start games like that? I mean, you know, the intensity in the second half for a good 20-25 minutes was very, very good. Obviously, Leeds responded with 2 goals. Brownie, I'm going to need your help through this one, mate. We'll start at the beginning. Obviously,
I think you've hit the nail on the head, mate. Frustrating, just so timid. Like, we just sat off them. We never really laid a glove on them first half. It was just like we were just so passive. I mean, that first half, you took the words out of my mouth. It just echoed the Man United first half. It was just like, I don't want to say scared. In fact, I will. We looked scared to death. It was a big team. We're in a big stadium. We looked miles off it first half. And I think we said it through the week. And yeah, he can't do it again. Stewart can't play in centre midfield. He just can't. And I mean, Shackleton may as well have been sat with me and you for the first half. Like,
I think what I found with these as well, it's, you know, when you're reacting to the match, what I think is important with regards to you guys watching this is me and Brownie are not assessing the season. Where we are is incredible. Listen, we're 11th now. We're going up against a world-class side, and they are world-class. The talent they've got is ridiculous, and we saw that today. But what we have also got to do is reflect on the game and on that first half. And we know the levels that this Leeds United side can get to. I mean, I guess probably the best way to start, Brownie, is the lineup. Did he get it wrong?
I mean, like, who are we to say he got it wrong? But I questioned his subs against Crawley at half-time. Just the lineup, just as soon... We knew he was going to put Stewart in there. As soon as he was, though... Their weakness today was left-back. And we weakened our right-hand side. Our only threat today would have been getting at their left-back. Ayling and Rafinha bombing on at their left-back. And we weakened our right-hand side. That was our outlet today, their left-back, unquestionably. And we shuffled it around, and it just killed. I mean, I don't think Shackleton got over the halfway line in the first half. I could have played left-back for Arsenal, and that was against Rafinha. Like, he was so isolated out there. And, like, I hate slating players. They're professional footballers and they're playing for Leeds United. We'd all love to do that. Unbelievable. But you're in the big boys league now. You're up there to be shot at. You know what I mean? You play for Leeds United. You are in the Premier League. So I'm sick of hearing these excuses. we're on the same pitch as them. It's 11v11, and we just look miles away from them. And
I think it's, to be honest, Brownie, I think it's a really good point. It's the fact that in that first game, we know Arsenal have improved. We know they've got world-class players, but even before the sending off, they had world-class players on that pitch. And as me and you were saying midweek, Leeds were completely dominant. I know Phillips was out, but as Bielsa says, Struijk is in that role. And with what we've said, me and you are on the same page in terms of Struijk, and we'll get onto that in a little bit. But every time Phillips is out, they can't be this complete. It's a completely.
I mean, I'm not Roberts' biggest fan. Like, we had that chat through the week, and we've had it before. I'm not his biggest fan. For me to say through the week, play Roberts just so that back four stays the same. Echoed why that back four should have played the same. I mean, Roberts come on today and he's done well again.
Thought it was good.
He's come on every time he's come on this season. He's done well. So I'm holding my hands up a little bit to Roberts. That's how much I wanted Struijk to stay in the centre half. I was saying play Roberts, and I'm not his biggest fan, but he's done well today. So come Wolves, I know we'll touch on that later on in the week, but if Phillips isn't fit, he can't play Struijk centre. He was just a passenger. I think it took 20 minutes for him to touch the ball. Phillips is our anchor man, and he gets it in plays. He makes us tick. He just wasn't getting on the ball, Struijk.
Yeah, and I think it's you're asking a centre back, and we look at Harry Maguire, Virgil van Dijk, all these top players. If you stick them in central defensive midfield, they wouldn't be able to do it. And it's what I will
say is, I mean, I've mentioned Struijk, I've mentioned Shackleton. I'm probably going to lose you a load of viewers here, mate, and I'm going to get pelters because I've took pelters all season.
I'll let you go with it.
I'm up there to be shot at. I'm not having him, Meslier. I'm not having him. If Kiko made the mistakes Meslier did, there'd be uproar. Absolute uproar. And I think Meslier's mistakes get swept under the carpet due to the hatred for Kiko. And quite frankly, I'm not saying play Kiko. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying we need a new goalkeeper.
If you're looking at that, and I think you'd probably concede that he's kept us in games this year. You look at, for example, Sheffield United, where he did keep us in the game. We wouldn't have got
Burnley at home. He made some saves.
Yeah.
But flip that around. He's a keeper. He's there to save. It's his job to save shots. And I keep hearing this. He kept us in games. That's what he's there to do. He's there to save shots. And I just feel it. I mean, I saw a stat in the middle of the second half. They'd had 4 shots. Every time that team shoots at Leeds, it ends up in the net. That's not
with Brownie. With regards to the mistake, and we'll get to all the goals, but just I know you're touching on Meslier. When he makes that mistake, and it's difficult this for me to say because I'm sort of in your ballpark in terms of just I'm not 100% sold yet, and that's not me being negative. I love Meslier. I think he's.
I mean, you hear this? He's only young. So what? So is Shackleton, but we can still hammer him.
Brownie? Right? Okay. So as opposed to that, do you think it's very different? Just the fact that he's a goalkeeper, and it is the most important position on the pitch, isn't it? Being a goalkeeper.
Yeah, if he makes a mistake 9 times out of 10, it goes in the net. I completely buy that. But what I don't buy is, and I'm absolutely sick and tired of it, is him clipping the ball to their midfield. It's not a one-off today. The first goal, he clipped it straight into one of their midfielders, Ceballos, I think, and that's where their attack came from. He's done it countless times. Remember against Everton away, he clipped it into Rodriguez and nearly got lobbed. He does it a lot. He clips the ball straight into midfield and they then attack on us again. It happens far too often. I mean, what game was it? I think it was... It's escaped me. Ayling was off the pitch getting treatment. Recently, Ayling was off the pitch getting treatment and he clipped it out to right back. And Ayling was stood off the pitch. It went out for a throw-in. It's just... I don't know what it is. He does make unbelievable saves.
Brownie,
them saves against Sheffield United were world class away at Bramall Lane, world class. And a shot stopping wise, he's got everything. But what I will stand by is if Kiko made them mistakes, there's a witch hunt for him, and I just think he gets away with murder. To be honest,
and I think it's important to say, with regards to what you're assessing here, Brownie, you're not assessing him ethically and morally. That's
that's completely different. I get all that. That Kiko's. I'm not saying play Kiko for the life of me. He's had his chances. Brentford away last year, where it's gone under his foot. He's made countless mistakes. Derby in the playoffs. I'm not saying play Kiko. I'm saying Meslier what I'm trying to say is Meslier gets away with a lot because Kiko's the other option. If that makes sense. If there was another option, people would be hammering Meslier a lot more.
I think. Would you say, obviously, with him being in the Premier League, which is it's the best league in the world, we all know this. The goalkeeper's position is magnified because it's the most important position on the pitch. I think it's more important than the striker role, to be quite honest with you, especially with Leeds' inconsistencies in defence. Do you think that Leeds maybe have gone wrong in not buying a Premier League class goalkeeper as sort of an experienced backup? Because I think surely, well, with it, Brownie, he's the youngest player in the Premier League. That's a fact. He's the youngest player in the Premier League. So he naturally has to have. I think Saka might be younger than him actually.
Yeah, but wise, he's the youngest. He's the most inexperienced. He's the youngest. And at the end of the day, we're 11th. It's our first season. So have we got it wrong? No, I'm not saying we've got it wrong. I'm just saying that today wasn't a one-off, and he gets away with a lot. That's what I'm saying. He gets away with a lot, and I think that's purely because of our, like you said, morally, ethically. I don't agree, obviously, with what Kiko did. Obviously not. Would I play him? No. I'm not saying Kiko's the answer, but I think that's why he gets away with a lot, because Kiko's the only other option. That's the best way I can put it. I'm not saying he's not going to develop into a world-class keeper, but if you're playing in the team, you're there. You're on merit, so you're there exactly the same as the other 10 players on the pitch with you. Do you know what I mean? You can't just have an arm around you just because you're young, because we'd be putting arms around also. Like the Crawley game, for example, the young lads that came on the pitch didn't do out. We got beat 3-0 by Crawley. Do we not hammer them because they're young? If they're playing in the first team, they're good enough to play in the first team. So age don't come into it for me.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people sort of making the point about his age and stuff. But what I would say is, Brownie, just to sort of flip it a little bit, when Calvin is in that central defensive midfield, I mean, you've spoken about Struijk there. For me, Meslier is continuously looking for three options. Really. You're looking for the left side, you're looking for the right side, and then you're looking for Calvin Phillips or whoever's in that CDM role. This is not Pascal Struijk's fault because he's a centre-back, for goodness sake. But Struijk is not confident in that central defensive midfield role for me. He's not mobile enough. He doesn't look for that switch, and that is not his fault. But was Meslier looking for him? And is that the responsibility of Pascal Struijk to go and help Meslier out? Because there are not were there?
Yeah, I hear what he's saying. And yes, Struijk wasn't getting on the ball. If you had a throw-in and you were a fullback and there was nobody there to give it to, would you still give it inside? No. Would you still throw it inside if there was no one there to give it to? No, you'd throw it down the line. If there's nobody in there, clear the ball. Don't just clip it in there because he should be there. If he's not there, clear it and then tell him he should be there.
Because I think, Brownie, with what you're saying as well, I think, and this is very unusual for Leeds, but maybe from a tactical point of view, and we saw this a little bit when we went more direct, Bamford was having a lot of joy against Gabriel. So if there isn't Brownie, but Brownie, all I'm saying is if there's not that central defensive midfield option, and Bamford was winning a good good percentage against Gabriel, I think that maybe we can surpass that central defensive midfield. We can hit Bamford and we can play off him and get players in and around him if that central defensive midfield isn't an option without Calvin there.
Look at Gundogan's goal for Man City. Was it last night? Edison just played a long ball straight over the top of Tottenham. He doesn't always have to go into... If he's not there, you can't give him it. If he should be there, then get in the change room at half-time and tell him, look, you need to come and show. I do take your point on board, and I think you're right. That first half, there was people hiding. Normally, we have Ayling out right, we have Alioski out left, hugging the touchlines, and then Phillips is in the middle. Today, Shackleton didn't want it outright. He didn't want the ball clipping into him. Strike wasn't coming to get it, so it left. Right, I can either clip it to Alioski, or that's it. There was quite a lot of times where we passed it from a goal kick to Cooper inside the 18-yard box, and passed it back to him. There was so many times in that first half an hour where the ball was just ping-balling about in our 18-yard box, just inviting pressure on. But
yeah, well, he's invariably, we keep frigging saying it, he is not a central defensive midfielder, but the point is, Brownie, he doesn't switch. We all here with Strike, and Strike is I think he's the best centre back at the club. I genuinely do. So the thing is, though, when you manipulate that, when you move him in central defensive midfield, it's a different ball game. So if he's getting the ball, he's going to have Odegaard, he's going to have Emile Smith-Rowe on his touch instantaneously. It's a very different position to be able to, at centre back, to be able to, leisurely switch out to the wing. In that central defence,
you're under more pressure. You're under more pressure.
You are, aren't you?
Yeah. And I think touching on that then brings Ayling inside, and we've already said it loses Ayling going forward, which him and Rafinha have caused loads of pairings at a problem. They've been fantastic together going forward. It loses that, and I also think Ayling, when he comes inside, how deep is he all the time? It seems to be that Ayling, when he goes centre-half, is the one that always players on side. Look at the Brighton game. When the Brighton beat us 1-0, it was him stood on the 6-yard box, playing everyone on side. Look at the West Ham game when he went into the centre-half. Newcastle, Hendrick's goal. Today, it didn't come to a goal, but when David Luiz got to the byline and cut it back when he made that block in the end, that went over the bar, which fantastic block. Again, it was him being so deep. And I just think when you have to switch players around, we had to switch 3 players around just for Phillips. You're disrupting a routine. It's like when you drive to work, you're in autopilot sometimes. You just sometimes you get to work and you don't even know how you've got there, type of thing. I think when you disrupt your routine, it's, oh my God. And I think that's, like you say, we don't have a like for like to put in there and just not have to shuffle everything around. And that's why I'd have so badly gone, keep the same back 5, drop click a bit deeper, and change the players up at the top, because when you're up at the top, you can be a bit more free. You've a bit more freedom to, if you lose the ball, like we've said with the keeper, if you make a mistake, it's in your net. If you lose the ball up top and things aren't working, you've still got a lot of room to win the ball back. And I just think, we said it in the preview, if he changes the back 5, then we're in trouble. And we've conceded 4. What did we say? We've conceded 5 in the last 5 games. Change the back 5 around and we've conceded 4 in 47 minutes.
Yeah, it had such Man United feels about it. Like you were saying, that 5 goals in 5. Arsenal have conceded 5 goals in 5. And I just think it was how we started the game. We were standing off them. They were pressing high. We look nervy. And Brownie, I don't get why we look like that, because we've been so confident. We've been so ruthless. We've been so up for it every single game recently. And it wasn't the fact that Arsenal were absolutely superb, but we were giving chance after chance. And it was the basics, wasn't it? It was, there was a couple of occasions where Click wasn't following his man. There was Odegaard and Emile Smith-Rowe were getting the absolute life. I mean, Saka, to be fair to him, I thought he was unbelievable today.
It's a good job. It's a good job Tierney didn't play, because the amount of times Cedric got in behind on that left-hand side and couldn't cut it back because he's right-footed was scary.
Yeah.
If Tierney had been there, imagine the balls flying across the gut ball line with a proper left-footed centre-back. But like you say, mate, it had just, like Tottenham, Man United, Arsenal, big team, big stadium, and we've just froze in them 3 games. Playing a Crystal Palace at home or Burnley or Newcastle, we know we can compete. We're not overawed. I just think when we play, it's an art. They were below us in the league. We had more points than them, but just the name Arsenal, it's like, oh my God.
But Brownie, do you not think that's the same with every sort of newly promoted team? There's no real points factor when you play these big sides. But then again, you'll get a West Bromwich Albion going to play Man United today and getting a draw. But aside from that, obviously we picked up wins against Leicester, against Everton. But it does. I think my element of frustration with it, to be honest, Brownie, The fact we're doing so unbelievably well, we're staying in the Premier League, that's incredible. I do think sometimes it is we are so heavily reliant on Calvin Phillips, and that's just a big. I know we've only got 15 games to go, but the reliance on him and the fact that if he's out, we don't know if he's out for the next couple of games, who knows? But the whole system changes, and when that system changes, Leeds look like they're in big trouble.
Yeah, it does. It just seems like one position, it's like a pack of cards, just makes the whole system collapse. And I know collapse is a big word, but we collapsed. It was 4-0 at one point in the game. We absolutely collapsed. But you're right. So we do forget. We run away with this idea. We are a newly promoted team. So how many players have played in the Premier League in that starting 11 today? Before this season, I mean. Bamford, maybe?
Can I ask you one question then? If we're playing Villa, and Villa, we had KP in that, and I've just seen a comment here from Go Shout, which says we beat Villa without KP, and that is literally the performance of the season for me. That Villa game. So what is the difference? Because at this moment in time, Brownie, there's not that much between Villa and Arsenal. So why can we go in and perform like that against Villa? Is it just the Rodrigo factor? What is it? That's the difference there.
We've beaten Villa before in the Championship. We've come from 2-0 down against them, beat them 3-2. We've beat them at home.
Do you think it's a mentality thing then?
Yeah, it has to be. We've played Villa countless times and beaten them home, away. It's just this. It's Arsenal, it's Tottenham, it's Man United. But then again, we play Man City and draw 1-1. I don't know. But
finger on it. And do you think, with regards to central midfield, I don't know about you today, Brownie, but with central midfield, I thought there was. I mean, it was like the River Nile at some points. And do you think that tactically is just the fact that Arsenal have the likes of Ødegaard, they have the likes of Emil Smith Rowe, they're very good in the press. It's the one-touch passing, and Leeds' midfield options, the man marking options, just seem to, if you pass one, then we're in big trouble. And is that just quality players?
Well, I think we've got to put into perspective as well. I feel like I'm just here, just hammering people, but Strike isn't a centre defensive midfielder, and Ødegaard's on loan from Real Madrid. So on paper, he should run the game. He should run the game. We shouldn't really, because Nketiah wasn't even on the bench for Arsenal today.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Look, the squad depth. They can't even get Nketiah onto the bench, and we've got Huggins coming on. We shouldn't even be competing. But that second half, thankfully, we won the second half 2-1, so that's a positive. So it does, but then it's even more frustrating because it does show that you can compete.
This is it, Brown. That's exactly the point, and it was
why I started at the start saying the word for the game was just frustration, because you can compete, but it's like we're overawed for the first 45. Like the Man United game, that second half, we were fine. Dallas in the top corner. Do you know what I mean? We had more of the game. And it's just like that first. It's like stage fright for that half an hour, and it's just game over.
Yeah. I mean, how would you feel? With regards to the goals. Let's just touch on the goals, Brownie. The first one. Where'd you start with that one, really?
Meslier chipping it to their centre midfielder.
Yeah, he started it, didn't he?
He started it. I've seen people saying he's done on his near post. He was done on his near post. Ayling has to show him the line for me. He lets him come in, but that's him playing as a right back, I think. He's then in the centre of the goal. He's got to shepherd him away, I think. But could he have done more for that? Maybe. But the second one, I'm forgetting which one's which. Yeah, the second one was the penalty one. Was it the penalty just before half time? The second one.
I think it was. Yeah, they got one. They got one that wasn't the penalty, then, didn't they? And then they got
then they got the penalty. He's just got to clear it. If your strike's not there, just clear it, and then get in the changing room. You're 1-0 down, and just say, "I need you showing." Because I know I've hammered Meslier a little bit. He didn't have that ball inside to play. And I text my mate. I said, as much as every week I seem to be having a go at Meslier, But to defend him, he didn't have that bounce pass in midfield. There was nobody coming to show for it. So
no one.
So he should have that pass into midfield. But if he doesn't, he then can't start doing tricks. He has to clear the ball. It's 41st, 42nd minute. We're 1-0 down. We haven't played great. Get into half-time, 1-0.
Is that instruction? Is that instruction? Is that why he's panicking? Do you think that's what it is? Because
we mentioned the patterns of play, didn't we? We're very regimented on how we play, and I just think that's how we play. He gets the ball, plays it into set midfield, and it's a bit like Bielsa. Plan A don't work, do plan A better. So maybe that's what he's been. He has to do it. If it don't work, just keep doing it. Trust him. But I just think sometimes you've got to take a bit of responsibility, and I mean, just clear it. They can't score if the ball's in the car park. Just clear it. Do you know what I mean? And then the third,
no.
I mean,
a third one.
It's just gone straight through the near post again, hasn't it? And it
poor
just felt like he's still
Brownie, poor defending that though. You know, you can't. I mean, we had nearly every single man back there. You can't be getting a shot.
But it's that same thing, isn't it? Shoot at the goal, it goes in. It just felt like we were still rocked from the second, and then the third one's gone in, and then the fourth one costed Ayling. The ball's got in. Ayling's got caught going forward on the outfield, and then they've skipped past him. We've actually won the ball back. Costa's lost it, and it's ball into the back post, and then Aubameyang, who scored 3 goals all season, has then got an hat-trick. It was just a bit too easy for him, wasn't it? But and then the frustration comes in, because then we go on and win the next 40 minutes 2-0. It's like I felt frustrated after the Tottenham game as well. It felt like we didn't really lay a glove on them, and we didn't really make them work for the win. And I don't feel like Arsenal really had to do much to win. That's the frustration.
Brownie, 14-foot in Yorkshire, said the title is misleading. It wasn't a game of 2 halves. They bossed the whole game and could have doubled the score. Get real. Well, I mean, the game was, in my opinion, I mean, I made the title, obviously, but the game was of 2 halves when you look at the score. I mean, yeah, we lost the first half 3-1, but won the second half 2-1. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. But I mean, you look at the Bamford shout, which, you know, Souness and Hasselbank in the studio, which, I mean, I know they're not the voices of reason, but they were both turning around and saying that was a Stonewall penalty. You look at the Shackleton chance of, obviously, Aubameyang hit the bar. They had numerous chances where they were going through. You know, they were open everywhere, weren't they? But at the same time,
that's going to happen though. We're chasing the game. It's 4-2. You're throwing bodies forward. It's going to happen. Obviously, Arsenal deserve to win the game. They scored 4 goals. I think we're with the game of 2 halves. I think it's more of a play on the leads as well. Like the first half, we weren't at it. Second half, we showed we can be at it. That's kind of the game of 2 halves, I think, to be fair.
Well, and what about obviously Brownie? I mean, we touched on Arsenal's 4, but there was a shining light. I mean, when we got the second, me and my dad were sat here and we were like, do you know what? It doesn't look as embarrassing now, which is great.
It made it a little bit more respectable, didn't it?
But it was. I mean, what I loved, we've looked very good defending corners at this minute. I mean, Arsenal, I think they had 5 or 6 corners that they put in the box. Didn't really look dangerous from one, to be honest. And then we had every single corner. The deliveries were decent, and Strike met it. Which was, I mean, he's been, since the Leicester game, really, he's been threatening a goal from the corner. And that is a positive aspect.
Yeah, massively positive. We have defended them set pieces loads better. And I think people, if you haven't watched the game, you look at the score, 4-2, you think, oh, bloody hell, Leeds, gung-ho, basketball match type thing. It didn't feel like that. It didn't feel like we conceded 4 because of that. There were glaring errors that gifted them the goals. We weren't wide open for their goals. And
Leeds beating Leeds.
That's the frustrating thing. It wasn't the style of play thing of you attack, we attack. That's why we were just really poor. That was the be all and end all. At the first half, we were just really poor. That's why we conceded the goals. But so the positives though, you're right, mate. We didn't give up. It could at 4-0. Some teams would go get done 6-7, and it could have. At one point, I thought it could have got like that.
Southampton.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Southampton. They've got to 4-5. It ends up being 9. Yeah. We've pulled it back. Huggins thought look tidy. Look good, didn't really tidy when he come on. And you look at the levels. They're bringing on Willian at £275,000 a week. We're bringing on Huggins. Do you know what I mean? That's the ballpark that you're playing in. And that's where you realise that you are a newly promoted team and you shouldn't really be putting a glove on teams like this. But we are. We're 11th, I think, now in the league, aren't we? So we've dropped a place. But if you'd have told me we'd be 11th with 15 games left, I would have snapped your hand off.
Yeah, and I know it sounds ridiculous, and we did a Europe thing in midweek, didn't we? And everyone's going to be laughing at that now. But, with 15 games left, we're in a position now where we are safe. And it is, obviously we're not talking about Europe now, but what I'm trying to say is, we can get to a real good level here just in terms of points. And I think it is key to mention, Brownie, that, this is against a very, very good Arsenal side who, they probably haven't clicked yet, but I mean, the abundance of talent in that side and to lose 4-2, I mean, when you look at it, when you look at the value of both squads, when you look at the quality of both squads, that really, on a plane of things, should be probably about 6 or 7-0 when you actually.
If you're playing, I mean, I'm not a gamer, but if you played FIFA and you had the abundance of talent in one team and not in the other, it ended up being 5, 6, 7-0, and I just think that's testament to Leeds. And the Europe thing, we'd have won today. We'd have been a point behind Tottenham. We're still only 4 points behind Tottenham. We've got to Wolves, who haven't been great.
No.
Beat Wolves, and because obviously teams are playing each other, taking points off each other, the unpredictability of the year. We could be having a completely different conversation this time next week. We beat Wolves, and then it's Villa at home. My head's a shed. It's Villa. There's no reason why we can't win both of them games.
Yeah, and we normally do that, don't we? But what with in terms of Brownie, we don't know. But if KP is out for the next game, I genuinely don't think it's a case of it's KP, that we can't replace him and all this sort of stuff. The issue with the whole thing is it's the entire
moving everything around.
Yeah, it's moving everything around. It's everybody else getting used to the positions, and I think you naturally see a little bit of a lull with Leeds when they start games in this system. So, what would you do to change that? Because he can't go with the same thing again.
Well, Wolves play a back three, don't it? Which I don't like. I just don't think we're ever good against back threes. To be honest, I think back to in the Championship when teams had come and put 3 centre backs and 2 wing backs. I remember Hull coming to Elland Road and beating us. Wigan were the same. They beat us out Elland Road 2 years on the trot. We always seem to struggle against. I just think he has to revert back to the strike at the centre back. And why not? We're away from home. Play Roberts or put Hernandez in. Play him. Let him roam about. Drop Click and Dallas. Let them be the anchors. And just say to Rafinha, Harrison, Roberts or Hernandez, just go and have fun. We're safe. We're not going down. Just be strong at the back. Don't be 2 or 3-0 down. Because I will be fuming if we're 2 or 3 down to Wolves because they haven't been the same team. They've got no Jimenez. There's no excuse. Like Arsenal, you've got Lacazette sat on the bench with a hat and a hot chocolate. Lacazette. Do you know what I mean? It's embarrassing. But it's frustrating because Hart said, we can get something. Head, we shouldn't be going to Arsenal and getting anything. We shouldn't be. That's the reality of it. I know we're Leeds United. I know we're a big club, and I get that. But the harsh reality is we're a newly promoted club. Look at West Brom. Look at Fulham. That's where we're the same league that we've come from. So yes, it's frustrating, but I think to spin it positively, we made it a little bit respectable, to be fair.
Yeah, definitely. And the second goal as well. Apps, I could not, but I mean, it was a brilliant goal. But I was on the floor. The fact that Costa A got a shot on target and B managed to find the net, unbelievable. I couldn't believe that actually happened. I was stunned.
That's the thing. Maybe we've come a little bit in the last few weeks. We know who's going to play. We're not predictable, but we knew what the team was going to be. So
we did. Established
Premier League managers, if we can work out what the team's going to be, they're going to be able to. And I thought Arsenal was set up well. They knew what was coming and they nullified us, to be fair. So why not throw a curveball in? Why not start Roberts? Why not chuck Costa in? Do you know what I mean? And I think they only came on because I think Bielsa thought the game were done and he knew we had a midweek game coming up and we were already injured galore. So I think he was just pulling off players just to save them, to be honest. Harrison's going to start at Wolves, isn't he? So what's the point in being on the pitch at 4-0? Alioski, we've got no other left back, really. So he came off. Who else came off? Who else came? Click.
Harrison, Click, Alioski.
Click's going to play at Wolves. So I think it was just a case of get him off the pitch before we were in even more of a crisis injury-wise.
Yeah, we need to get Click's boot sorted, don't we, mate? There was a brilliant chance in that first half when Rafinha lays him off. It's 1-0, and you think you just get this on target and you're going to test Leno. And
saying it, and we said it through the week. I don't know. Every shot just seems to go as if it's hitting the centre, like I said, South Stand, didn't I? Top tier South Stand. It's just like he's
the London Eye.
Yeah, that's the great one. Touching Shard, wasn't it? It was like, but it was in a great opportunity. It was in a good position, edge of the box, and he shaped up well as well. And it just felt like, go on then, whip one round. And I think it just summed up Leeds a little bit that first half.
Yeah, definitely. And as well, guys, I know there's a lot of you who are getting getting upset at some of your comments being read out. I apologise. Me and Brownie are just trying to have a little bit of a discussion. We'll get to your points in a little bit, but
bring these comments on. Let's get through them. Bring them on.
Should we get through?
We can get through some, because I hope someone just calms me down a little bit because I feel like kicking some up the ass.
I think we had a few, to be fair, when you were going on your Melier rant, which
bring
was
them on. Because I want to see this.
Remember, Bielsa makes players better. Huggins has great potential under this coaching system. I'd agree with that from Colin.
Yeah, I thought Huggins looked lively, sharp, wasn't he? Yeah, he didn't look out of place, did he?
No, T saying Melier needs competition, which I think we both agree with.
That's kind of what... Maybe I went a little bit overboard with Meslier. I just feel like he gets a little bit of an easy ride because we all hate Kiko. And he's the only other option. So I think we don't want Kiko in net. So we'll just allow Melier to do what he wants. That's where I'm at with him.
Definitely. Robert's in for Clip from Famous E. We might, to be honest, we might not have an option. Apparently, Marcelo Bielsa afterwards was saying that Clip was playing with a hip injury. We've got why we're not in a relegation fight then. CH talking nonsense. I don't know if some of these fellas are talking, and women talking between themselves. I'm not 100% sure. Dallas in goal, says Adam Chadwick. Wouldn't be a bad shout.
Do you know what? Well, we're struggling midfield-wise, aren't we? But you mentioned it, didn't you, about putting him centre-back. Why?
Yeah, I've got a weird thing with Dallas. I just think he could play anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of people talking about Liam Cooper. I think I'll be honest with you. What do you think to that? When that happened, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't defend Cooper. I thought he'd just been clumsy.
The Saka one.
Yeah.
I think I said it absolutely not. He looked like he'd gone down before he got even anywhere near. But just touching on that, and there's a few things that bug me. I mean, I know we were 4-0 down, but every throw-in they had just seemed to be a foul throw, and just little things. I don't know if there's been rule changes that I'm not aware of. Saka has dived. Why is he not booked? And it happens a lot. It happens a lot with things like that. I've seen a lot of times lately in games where players just kick the ball away. Yellow cards don't get given. People stand in front of free kicks. Nothing happens.
No.
If he's given the penalty and the referees thought it was a penalty and then he's looked at a monitor and seen that it isn't, he's deceived the referee. That's simulation. So I don't get, and it's not just a Leeds thing, and it's just because it's Saka. It's just in general. It happens a lot. Why did they not go then book him?
It's mad, isn't it? It's mad. Did you not notice the one that I was telling in this game was the throw-ins? So they get a throw-in, and obviously with the foul throws was something that was griping me up straight away. But the fact that they'll get a throw-in in the corner, and then they'll move up to the halfway line and then take the throw-in, and the ref says nothing.
Yeah,
just go on.
Just little things creeping in, I mean, the offside. Well, I mean, I've played football. I don't get what offside and what isn't anymore. I'm losing the will to live with the rule changes, where handball is, where it isn't. I just don't know if I've missed rule changes that say you can now throw a ball like that and not put it behind your head. And because there used to be that thing where you could have retrospective action and then ban a player if he's deceived the referee with a 3-match ban. So it's easy to go look at the monitor. He's dived. It's not a penalty. Yellow card. I just don't. I know it's nitpicking. We've got beat, but it's just little things that it just happen. Not just in Leeds games, in every game in general. For me, it just I don't know. I'm just pissed off with everything. To be honest, I want to moan about something.
It's difficult, isn't it? It's when. Because the thing is, and we'll all know this as Leeds fans, and this has been as real as it comes, which we try emulate on this channel, but it's the fact that we've lost the game and the nooks and crannies of losing any football game. If you are a passionate Leeds United fan, doesn't matter if you lose to Man United 1-0, doesn't matter if you lose to Burnley 3-0, you're going to be as knocked off with either result, aren't you? It's just how it is.
Yeah, I'm sure that's the same for every football fan, isn't it? When your team loses, you look at all sorts of angles, but I mean, it just happens a lot. Even in games that we're winning, you'll see players just standing in front of free kicks, and the ref, and then the player has to turn around and pass it somewhere else, and you think, just book them.
Yeah. I mean, we had Anthony on the channel the other day as well with me and Brownie. I think we look nervous away at the big clubs. We still have a long way to go to rebuild that big club mentality, and I think getting the fans back will heavily contribute. To that. What do you think? What do you think? Brownie? Just to add on this, what do you think the? I'd be really interested to know what the sort of fan reaction would be. You know, obviously we've had the Man United, we've had the Spurs, we've had the Arsenals, where we've had sort of heavy conceded goals within a short space of time. What do you think? I mean, you've been in plenty of away grounds. Do you reckon it'd be just the away locks? We know they're the hardcore lot. They'd just be sort of accepting, and I'm sure they would.
I think this year there'd be acceptance. I think this year the atmosphere from the away end would have just been a party atmosphere every game, just because it was being back. I don't really think the score would have really mattered. I mean, some fans won't even know what day it was in the away end. Some games, you know what I mean? I don't think the score would really have mattered. I think they'd have just been completely chanting away from minute 1 to the end, just happy to be back in the ground with it being the first year back. And I think that could come into our favour a little bit next season, because the fans, it will be their first season back. Hopefully, touch wood, we'll allow back in grounds gradually over the summer. Next year, we'll still have that element of first year back syndrome, because it will be the first year back for fans, if that makes sense. And the players will be more established and had a year in the Premier League under the belt, which I think helps us with that cliche of second season syndrome. It will be like the first year again for fans anyway, fans' atmosphere. But yeah, touching what Anthony said, I think we said that, didn't we? I said, looking at the starting 11 today, Bamford might have done, well, he will have done, but everybody else, I don't think they've played in the Premier League before this season. No, so it's a massive step for all of them. And I think we do forget that. I'm guilty of it. We see pundits hammering us, but fans ourselves were guilty. We're a newly promoted team. We shouldn't be going to Arsenal. We have no right to be going to Arsenal and getting anything.
I think the thing is, Brownie, with what we've just said as well, is we know we can make that step up. But the difference is, don't get me wrong, that second half there was a step up. But as well, with Arsenal, there was a notable step back. So that's what we've always got to bear in mind, that these world-class teams, they can't keep up that intensity for 90 minutes. But if they did, we wouldn't be in that game because of the calibre of player they have. Yeah. And that's...
you just sometimes you've got to hold your hands up and say we're beaten by the better team. But that's where the frustration comes into me, because I felt like we gifted them it. I felt like we gave them it. We didn't get at them. We've been to, like, Everton. They're an established Premier League team. But we went to them and we had a go from minute 1 when we went to Everton. First few minutes, I think Harrison could have scored. And then Rafinha was in. We were just attack after attack against Everton. And just tonight, it just felt like we didn't really get over the halfway line. It just felt... It sounds weird, but it was a bit like the Josh Warrington fight last night. It just didn't get going. It just felt like we're going to start in a minute. Like, next round, we're going to come out here. And it just felt like it just got to half time and we didn't actually really do anything.
Bamford, was it a penalty? The weird thing is, I mean, I know we've touched on it before. I would go no.
I'm not convinced. I mean, I think if it's the other end, we're fuming, to be honest.
Yeah, we are.
They get given, they don't get given, and that's the other inconsistency of refereeing. You should be able to say yes or no, but some referees would give it, some wouldn't. I don't think it'd have been nice because it'd have been a hell of the last 5 minutes, but I think probably gets given against us, if I'm honest. But I'd have to see it again and again. But at the time, he's screaming, going penalty. But it's
well, there you go. I mean, it's opinions, mate. Joe Madigan said it's a blatant pen. There you go. And I think there's a lot of people who are saying it is a penalty, and that's it's where football's subjective, and it's a game of opinions. I personally thought like Cedric and Gabriel just did a bit of a number in terms of just closing Bamford off. I didn't think he was ever getting to the ball, even with Gabriel there, to be quite honest with you. So
I think it's one of them where defenders will say it's not a penalty, it's good defending, and I think attackers will say it's a Stonewall penalty.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's a lot of people seem to be. Even Martin Tyler said it apparently. Yeah. Would you say it was more of a penalty than Saka's?
Saka's dived, so yeah.
Yeah,
if Saka's not been touched, he's just gone to the floor. Like for me, that's a yellow card. If you're not giving yellow cards for that, you may as well not give yellow cards for diving. You may as well just say, all right, just jump on the floor and we'll have a go. We'll have a guess.
Yeah, definitely. Anything else you want to bring up, Brownie? I think we've gone through it quite comprehensively there.
I think we've hit nail on the head. Just try to put a positive spin on it to finish, that we didn't fold. We kept on going, even in the 91st, 92nd, 93rd minute. We're still putting corners into the box and still attacking, and we've come a long way, haven't we?
Yeah, definitely.
We've come a long way. We're now discussing defeats at Arsenal, which is a lot better than discussing defeats to QPR. Because I've come away from QPR in away days horrible after getting beat there, where you should be winning. So we've come a long way, haven't we? And we've just got to look at the positives, roll on into Wolves. Silver linings, I don't think we can play as poor that 31st 45 minutes. Just looking at Lee then, Mr. Beginning, did you start with shocking?
Yeah, I always do that. It's always straight away. I'm just shocking, absolutely shocking. But anyways, I think that first half was, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, I don't think you can disagree with that first half. It was pretty. It was pretty poor. But then we finish it on, like, you look at the comparison. You've got a player playing defensive midfield who isn't a defensive midfielder against a player on loan from Real Madrid. They're the levels of difference. So is it shocking? Or is it
Brownie, what I will say in terms of numbers, Ødegaard was a couple of seasons ago only second to Messi. He's that proficient in terms of numbers going forward. So this is the sort of person that Pascal.
These are the games we want to be involved in. Yeah, it's disappointing we've got beat 4-2, and it's disappointing we went to Old Trafford and got beat. These are the games we need to be involved in. First season was never going to be easy. And to be honest, we've made it look pretty comfortable. We're in a comfortable position, so we just got to roll on into Wolves, and hopefully we can be chatting about Europe again come next week.
Yeah. Right, guys, we'll definitely have more content coming up this week. We definitely, I would like to touch on the Arsenal game a little bit more, to be quite honest with you. So, if that is a tactical breakdown, if that is doing whatever you guys want, just get it in the comment section below, of course. I presume this is. Are you going to read that name out? Because I don't recognise that name, and I reckon they're trying.
Gavin Diaz.
There you go. Yeah, you've read it. Have you got it yet?
Thoughts on Fingarin Diaz?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got it now.
What do you reckon?
I reckon me being me.
Would you take him?
I'd give it. I wouldn't. I'd give him away. I'd give him. I would never take a Fingarin Diaz.
I'm not. I know it's Valentine's Day, but I'd never take a Fingarin Diaz, to be quite honest.
We'll have him out on loan.
Yeah, guys, if you wouldn't mind, as Bathmore says, bombshell. There we go. But yeah, guys, if you do hear anything from Fingarin Diaz, let us know in the comment section below. But
if you've got any highlight reels of him, put them in the description below. Have you got any clips? any clips of his action over the last 24 hours, get the Finger in Diaz links below and we'll sort through the best ones.
That's it. Guys, as well, make sure you check out Team Wall Art, and Brownie will get them bare walls full of Team Wall Art very, very soon.
Yeah.
And we
do
will...
do you have any companies that sponsor blinds? Because I could do with some blinds as well. If you've got any blinds, people that...
yeah, there we go. If anyone knows any blind company, not blind companies, but blind companies can get in contact if they want, but blind, curtain blinds. But yeah, just me getting that spade. But yeah, just get in contact. But yeah, mate, I'll speak to you in a bit.
Yeah. Cheers. See you later.